talk. The next lightning talk is about AI agent-driven RAG systems. My name is Vivek. I work as an enterprise security architect in Microsoft IT security division. So more of a practitioner's view as to how we deal with agents and why this problem is something that you should take note of. So during this 15-minute movie that I'm going to take you through, we're going to understand what is RAG, not the cloth pieces that you're used to. We'll understand what the attack surface for the AI agent-driven RAG systems are. We look at key attack vectors along with some real-world attack scenarios, and then we'll deep dive into three prominent real-world scenarios, and then we'll look at the detection and mitigation. And hopefully that gives you a good comprehensive view of what risks do RAG systems possess. So how many folks have already heard of RAG in the context of an AI system? A quick show of hands. Okay. Almost everybody knows. Should I just pass on to the next speaker? Okay. All right. For folks who are not aware, RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. So you can think of it as having an AI system designed with its own internal training data set, but then you're going to take this AI system and then contextualize it or customize it to your particular use case. That's when you attach sort of this supplementary database or a supplementary information context and make the AI system work its way within the context of your AI system. So a good example is like M365 or Enterprise Copilot, where you would have your own information within the enterprise boundary. And that's how when a user is asking the copilots about its documents that they have worked on or who they have collaborated with or who's the users that they work with, that's when the AI copilot system is aware of, okay, this particular user is within my system and these are the files that they have worked on. With any good technology, there comes security challenges. And why do you think that security matter? In this case, any external data source that you plug in, even though it is internal to your enterprise, it will introduce attack vectors. There are real-world risks in the enterprise AI adoption. When we talk about folks familiar with the data flow diagram or DFD, a quick show of hands, people who threat model a lot. Yeah. So in any DFD, like if you were to break down like a generic, very high top level RAG system, there will be a user has a query, sends it to the AI agent, goes ahead and has a model which is supplemented by a document storage or the RAG module. It has a query processing module that will have a retrieval system. It will then reference the document processing module or the KB knowledge set, and then it will work on its response generation and then return the query back to the user. In the ideal world, yes, the security and monitoring layer should be present and should be catching bad things from happening. But as shown by Michael, Leon, and others, that doesn't happen all the time. So what does what is the attack surface of a RAG model? Quick show of hands from the previous DFD. How many of you think that there's just one vulnerable component in the DFD? Nobody? You guys are smart. Okay. How many of you think that there's like two or more? How many for all four? Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Almost, yeah, more than four, yep. So we spoke about the four components, the query processing, the document indexing, retrieval logic, and the response generation. It has been shown by researchers that all these four components are vulnerable, and that's we need to factor in when we talk about the whole attack surface. When you talk about the hidden threats within the AI-powered or AI agent-driven RAG systems, we are talking about things like data manipulation. We are talking about things like injection attacks, all familiar with prompt injection, direct, indirect. We're also talking about adversarial ranking. So if you're not familiar in traditional ML language, this is adjusting the ranks of a website or in order to promote one's interest. Think of it like in search bar, you have those sponsored links come up at the top where you always wonder why a particular vendor is every time I search for something is being returned. That's where adversarial ranking, it's being manipulated and being sent to the top, and unauthorized data access. So those are at a high level, like the hidden threats that we have to worry about. In the earlier talk, we saw the Gen AI attack matrix. Have folks seen this before? How many of you use it? So it's very interesting that if you just do a control find of RAG, you'll see like 4 or 5 instances of it, and it's great that it's being also adopted by MITRE Atlas. So great work by the folks who are working on the Gen AI attack matrix. So it is definitely an attack problem. So now we understand the components. We'll understand what are the key attack vectors. Prompt injection, we have seen this already. Crafting the inputs to modify the agent behavior, break out of its guardrail. This is a pretty vanilla one. The ignore previous instructions. Almost all vendors have have mitigation around this. So you get more. Things are more challenging than this, so I'm not sure if this works anymore. For the second one around data poisoning, we have seen this index resources having misleading data, and then that's how the output also gets impacted. We are starting to see a lot in things like research papers as well, where you will have fake data articles and fake data points inserted, and that's how people who are referencing the AI research or the research papers for their work, they get manipulated. We have retrieval manipulation as well. In this case, we spoke about the adversarial ranking, where they manipulate the ranking to bump up the results. And we've seen this happen in real world with competitors. You're in a market with a product, you have another competitor, they will try to outsmart you and get their product up in the rankings and in customer adoption. The next one is around the adversarial ranking. We touched upon it earlier, modifying the documents that are in store to alter results. We've seen these examples in the real world where phishing sites are inserted and then people are tricked into clicking them and lead to exfil of data. 3 scenarios is as if I had access to Ali's slide deck. The poison-based corrupting AI decision. This is an AI-powered medical assistant. As you know, medical systems have a deep treasure trove of knowledge, and they pull out of KB. So where things can go wrong, a slight error in calculation of dosage or slight calculation of numeric aspect of a patient's medical history can have life-altering impact on when a healthcare professional is interacting with a RAG system, which is AI-powered. The second one is around the malicious prompt injection to exfil data. HR chatbot leak. I'm pretty sure if your company has an HR division, they would have a chatbot. Yes, no, yes, definitely. Because that's one of the basic things, and this was shown at last year's Black Hat as well, how easy it is to have the chatbot and leak information, manipulate the documents, and we have seen in the real world as well, it has gone to an extent where people have started with the whole workflow of new employee onboarding and then infecting the documents that where they have to divulge the personal information about your social and about your banking information. The retrieval bias, it's pretty wide known, and the real world example for this is like the political news manipulation. We see this happen a lot as well. I spoke till now. We have just spoken about the problem, okay, where things can go wrong. What should we do about detection and mitigation? So for detection and mitigation, number one, as pointed out in the panel talk as well, data validation, sanitization still plays a key. Do not forget the basics. That still has to stay. We need whatever index sources you're plugging into your AI agent-driven system. Make sure that the data is sanitized. Anomaly detection or behavioral analytics, entity detection is also something that we are seeing research evolve into, as we understand that prompt injection is a very hard problem to solve by deterministic security measures. So we know that watching for the behavior, watching for the patterns and the anomaly is where there may be a better chance of success. With with the access controls, again, without forgetting the basics, have RBAC implemented in your AI system wherever you're plugging in the RAG knowledge sources. If your system is going to perform the right operation, that becomes even more critical because now you're giving it modify, update, delete privileges. So that's where a robust access control has to be in place. Adversarial testing and red teaming, like they say in the forces as well, you always practice and prepare. So simulating attacks and making sure to go ahead and identify the weakness before the actual attack happens. It's very good practice to have in the enterprise scale or the AI agent rollout as well. Talking about the retrieval anomalies, so when the queries are being retrieved, when the data sets are being retrieved, make sure that you have irregular spikes. Like, let's say if there's a document that has never been accessed before and that starts getting access all of a sudden multiple amounts of time by multiple users, those are things that you will have to watch out for. It's easy to talk about these, but we've seen like very few things, very few tooling, or even in the market, in the security landscape market, very few tooling to do it, especially when it comes to enterprise scale, because now we're talking about petabytes, terabytes of data. The last one I think is the secure query processing. This is something similar to what Johan showed earlier about the human in the loop, or making sure that you want to be as least intrusive to the user as possible, and the secure query processing intentionally introduces that factor. So input sanitization as well as output sanitization and filtering. A lot of AI vendors are relying on this to be able to catch things. For things that we are aware, it's a good measure. It's a good reactive measure. All right. So with that, we come to the takeaways. We focused on the RAG systems. They definitely introduced new RAG vector, new attack vectors, and we saw how understanding these vulnerabilities are key to defense. A quick show of hands on whether we can prevent these types of attacks in RAG system just by proactive measures, just by preventive security. We keep doing threat modeling, we keep doing DFDs, simulating red teams. Can we go ahead and prevent those? Do you think yes? No? No. Okay. Yeah, that's sort of, if there's one point that I want you to take away from this talk, is that yes, proactive security, there's no debating that, but you also need runtime security. You need runtime defenses, real time, as near real time. In the enterprise security space, we see this a lot. And that's why I put that image that was generated by ChatGPT as well. No time like runtime. So that we believe that in preparing enterprises or the defense for protecting against AI systems, this would be the key game changer. With that, I'd like to thank everyone for your time and hope you enjoy the rest of the talks. Thank you.